Hi, everyone. Welcome to my Holistic Hub. I am so excited today to have my spiritual teacher, my amazing friend, Susan Kennard, on today's show. Welcome, Susan.
Hi,
It's
Roshneys.
so good to have you here. It's a bit weird because it's like, because
Good.
we're really good friends and like you've been my spiritual teacher for a long time and still are. I'm so honored to have you on here. I'm just going to tell the audience how I met you or how we met. So in 2015, myself and my hubby were watching this spiritual program on Z Television, ZTV. It's an Asian network television, and every Sunday, this guy called Emmett Kate would put spiritual people on his show. The show was called Get Closer to the Truth. And that's where I saw you. And when I was watching you, I was like, oh, I really like this lady. There's something about this lady. I don't know what it is. I really like her. And so then I started following you on Facebook. And then the rest is history. We've been friends for a long time, and I've been part of your Soul Mission family since 2017. And, I'm just so grateful and so honored to know you and that you're part of my life and my journey. Um, I've got so much to say. I'm like too excited, yeah. So let me just say that like when I started following you on Facebook, I was like, oh, I love what this lady's talking about because all the spiritual stuff was quite new to me in 2015 and 16. And then something really weird happened. Like I won some money at work on a lottery, and I was like, oh, how can I use this? So I used some of it and I bought The Secret as a gift for 10 people, for friends. And then I had quite a bit left over and I was like, oh, what can I do with it? And I thought I'll do something for myself because I never do anything for myself. And then you popped up and I wasn't feeling very good at the time. And you popped up on Facebook about talking about inner child healing. And I thought, oh, I need this, I need this. And I booked my first session with you, which was absolutely mind blowing. And it moved a lot of bricks off my shoulder. Okay. And, what else can I say? The rest is history. The rest is history. I'm so grateful that everything that I'm doing now, you've been a big part of. Yeah, you've been a part of. And one of the reasons why I've done so well is well with manifestation and connecting with my guides, is to be like connected with people like you. So I will zip up for a little while and let you talk. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Susan?
Yeah, so firstly, I just want to say that you are your own inspiration for others, and where you've come from has been the journey that you needed to go on, and what you're doing now to get that message out to the world is just amazing. And even more amazing is that your name means light, right? So Roshni means light. So, I always knew that you're meant to write a book, my name is Light, and we've been talking about that for a while. So there's lots of things coming up for you where you're going to help other people feel inspired to live who they're meant to be in the world. So thank you. I'm honoured to be on your Holistic Hub. So thank you so much for inviting me. And you
Oh,
want me to introduce myself, right? Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I'm quite often known as a spiritual scientist. And the reason why I'm known as a spiritual scientist is because my background is very much scientific. So, I was trained in as a psychologist and then as a psychotherapist. And then I worked as a trauma specialist in child protection. So I worked with doing research into drugs and alcohol and domestic abuse. And many of the families that I work with, they were led to a place of a plaster being put on the cases, and people would work with them for months and months on end and not get anywhere. And actually, I came in with a very different approach to trauma and addiction, which kind of seeded my journey into the kind of holistic journey. Because after that, I had an incredible awakening at the age of 27, where that led me to understand that I might talk about that a little bit later, but led me to understand that we are a soul having a human experience. And so Now, obviously I am a channel for source, and I work with my guides and so on. I've been a medium for a long time. But at that time, it was kind of an awakening of the science and the spiritual. And it's only really the last 15 years, I would say, that I've really truly embodied the spiritual and the science and helping people to heal from that perspective.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. So, I mean, I know what lights you up the most, but what does light you up the most about about the things that you do, about the work that you do? Although I know we don't call it work, do we?
Living my mission. So, it's my mission. Yeah, it truly is my mission to help people align to their mission, and that is it. And many people come into my experience that may have a physical dis-ease, they may have emotional things that are going on, they may feel stuck in lots of ways. But I say that all of that points towards being slightly out of alignment with why we're truly here. I'm really coming to the place of knowing that, the three pillars of abundance we've talked about recently, which is know thyself, know that you're not on your own, and know why you're here, right? So know yourself is knowing that you are a divine light having a human experience. Knowing that you're not on your own is that you have an amazing team of guides that are just right by your side, helping you at all times. And it's important to ask. And the third one is know why you're here. And it doesn't have to be, I know exactly why I'm here, but I know that I'm here for a reason. And those three things, I think, really light me up when I see people living aspects of those three pillars of abundance, because they open doors and they help us to really align to who we're meant to be in this world. But it's not an overnight tick box, it's a journey. And that also is something that really lights me up, is watching people expand on their journey. And I would say that there are lots of levels of that light me up. But when people, and here's a disclaimer for us both really, we do not claim to heal or cure. And actually, to be honest, no one's holy grail is for anyone else. It's within. So the holy grail is within. So if we look at the healing journey of diagnosis, I am a neuropsychologist, and I've worked with meta health and looking at metaphysics of dis-ease. However, what I do know is that any diagnosis is a journey to go home and remember who you are, right? So that particularly excites me, because when I see somebody who isn't necessarily that spiritual, hasn't really got a particular understanding that they're a soul having a human fun time as a human this time, when they start to uncover and heal the trauma pieces, and their body starts to heal because of that, because they're ready, that really lights me up.
Mhm.
Really lights me up, because I know then that they're coming home.
Oh, I love that. I really love that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the soul family, if that's okay.
Yes.
So I've been in it since 2017, and I came out for like just maybe 6 months, and then my soul was like, "You need to get back on there. You need to get back on there." And so I'm back. It's been a year, over a year now. I've been back on,
Yeah.
back on. But what's amazing about your soul family is that you kind of promote and you're an inspiration to us. Okay, so you always promote authenticity,
Mm.
being non-judgmental, non-egoistic, and sharing. I love the fact that you kind of like just let everyone in the membership group just sort of say, okay, we'll practice on each other, help each other out. There's no thing like only I can do your one-to-ones or only I can do your healing. It's like you have,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you're Libran, but you have like one of the biggest hearts that I know. What's your
I
take?
don't. I see our healing journey, and as facilitators, because obviously no one's a healer for anyone else, but we're facilitating. And to me, there's no competition in abundance ever, and it is about, we're here on this planet to expand our light so that others can expand their light, right? So who am I? Who's anyone ever to say you can't expand your light only with me? It's like pretty. ridiculous, really. So it doesn't kind of come into my thoughts at all. All that comes into my thoughts is celebrating each one of you on your journey, because to me that's my mission. So if I can celebrate you, then the humanity is getting access to a wonderful channel to help others heal, right? So to me, it's a no. I don't even think about it. It's not even something I consider not doing. The soul family, the soul's mission membership is like, it is just like a family, isn't it? So, yes, we have new people that come in all the time. Some people leave, some people, we don't have any holds. People can stay as long as they want. There's no kind of, you have to be here for a year, or you have to be here for, as long as you choose to stay, as
Yeah.
long as you want. Because I feel that if somebody's meant to be there, they'll be there. And if they're not meant to be there, they won't be there. So to
Yeah.
me, it's not, there's no attachment to outcome on that perspective. And I think that when people do step into the soul family and they experience the deep healing in the inner child perspective, but also from the Akashics, etc., and many other levels, obviously light language and healing tones and so on, whatever comes through during that time, during one of our sessions, one of our groups, they go on a journey where they are expanding and expanding and expanding.
Mm.
And blocks come up, things come up always in our life,
Oh,
and
yes.
tweaking, we're constantly tweaking the parts of us that are attracting something. And to me, that soul family has evolved and grown, but it still stays the same in the sense of the authenticity of it all
Mm.
and how the space is held for people. So yeah, thank you for saying that, because it is
Yeah.
my heart's desire that everybody in the soul family expands their.
Everyone is just so supportive on there. It's just like sometimes I get emotional. I'm like, oh, I really love this whole family, And like sometimes I don't always get a chance to read because there's lots of, a
Yeah,
lot of people put lots of messages on there. But we learn from each other. That's what I notice. And when I read some of the messages, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's going on with me, and that's happened every time. So
yeah,
so like you said, it's synchronicities. It's like you're there for a reason, and you're connecting with people for a reason.
yeah,
Sometimes you got to find the reason, and sometimes it's buried. It's buried there. It's buried there.
yeah.
But honestly, it's really, really an amazing membership family you've got there. Absolutely amazing. Um, what
I
was
think
your what's
so.
your profound moment with a client or clients? Your most wow moment? I know
Wow.
you probably had loads.
Yeah. I mean, I had one just today, literally.
Do you want to talk about that one? I think that one would be.
Yeah, I think so, from the perspective of just a generic expression of something. So, a person I was working with, I won't say male or female because, then we can keep it anonymous, um, was told that they probably would just need to settle, live the best life that they can, and that there really wasn't that much that the medical profession could do for them. And I was asked to help this person, and so they're not particularly spiritual, and that really doesn't matter because deep down inside, we all know who we are. It's just we haven't remembered it, right? So the work that we did together, and it was just 3 sessions, and this person had pancreatic cancer and also some cancer in the spine as well, which was causing a lot of pain. And we worked with, the thing about the pancreas, and I do want to say this, it might help people if they're listening. The thing about the pancreas is that there's always something emotionally and in a metaphysical way that has led us to feel that we didn't get what we should have got, or there's a feud in the family, or something where we were hard done by. So that sometimes comes up with inheritance, or, you know, a fight in the family and so on. And I won't explain what this person's situation was to keep it anonymous. But essentially, there was a few of those things going on for this person and also in history as well. And so we worked with that, and we worked with the, the inner child part, but also the fear in the moment when this person was diagnosed. And I think that's key. I speak about this a lot, but the key thing is to release the fear of diagnosis.
Mm.
Because or else the body cannot get on with healing because it's in this state of fight and flight and fear, and I'm like that. So that's the first point of call. And then after that, we work with the other pieces that came up for this person and around relationships, etc. And they found out today that not only had things changed in the sense of the oncology report, but also that they are now free to visit some people that they thought they never ever would be able to do again in
Wow.
another country. And to me, that is after, 3 sessions
Amazing.
of someone's life, that humbles me massively. And then, we've got beautiful Lancing on our soul family, who I can talk about. And
I'm
she,
probably going to interview her on here as well.
yeah, great, get her on 100%. So she, a couple of years ago, I think I was in San Diego at the time, and the call came in, and I called her back and just said, and she said, look, my sister found one of your pieces of work, and I need to contact you. And as I'm speaking to Lancing on this phone call, I'm hearing from the guides, this is part of her mission, right? So then I said to her, you know what? You're going to look back at this and you're going to say, now I get it. Now I get it. Well, look at where we are. So, you know, she was diagnosed with secondary cancer, and she can tell her story, but secondary cancer, she, decided that there was something that she hadn't looked at, and 100% she hadn't looked at it. And it was to do with her childhood, how she experienced her mum being abused by her father, and it was just awful, and awful experiences. And this is what she experienced about being a woman. So where did she have cancer? Haha. Yeah, so in her, in her feminine parts of her body. So when we did the healing work on it, a few months later, she kept going, you have to keep going for these checks. And they were like, well, we can't find anything, right? And that's because she healed herself. And now what she does, and I let her tell the whole story, but what she's doing now is living her mission. Yeah, so she's now helping other people heal. She's telling her story. She's out there in the world being a light. That's what it's all about. That's what this work is about. It's about people coming home to who they truly are. And there's nothing like a diagnosis of cancer to make you come home,
Mm.
and not come home from a perspective of going home to spirit, coming home to who you truly are. I really believe that. And thank you. The guides are saying to remind in astrology, because we love astrology, don't we, Rosh?
Yeah.
In astrology, and obviously I'm an intuitive astrologer and hold the astrology events for the members a couple of times a month. But essentially, the cancer part of our chart is about coming home to who we are. Isn't it interesting how
Yeah.
the name cancer
Yes.
actually is related to the house in the astrological chart, but also about us coming home?
Yeah, it's a homely star sign, isn't it? I know because Nick's homely. He's
Yeah,
Cancerian. He's very homely.
yeah. So, long answer to a short
Yeah.
question, but 100% that's what massively lights me up.
Do you know, it's so nice because what happened to you today and then what happened to Lancing back in 2020, I think it was, because I remember being on the course with you. I think, was it the Body, Soul,
Body,
and
soul,
Universe?
universe. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the, I mean, I'm not gonna actually, I can't say it's one of the best courses because all your courses are brilliant, but I actually remember that moment with Lansing, and also afterwards when she told us the good news, and we were just like, I think everyone was really emotional and tearful and happy, and like everyone's like, wow, and
What
especially
they all
after,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
incredible, really incredible. And I love your courses because
Mm.
a lot of your courses, a lot of the things that I've learned come from those courses, especially the Sparkle to Success.
It's called Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, of course,
Yeah,
because the processes are in the back of my book now.
oh,
So
you
the
mean this
I am
book here?
oh my that's my book, yeah, Awaken the Light Within Your Heart. So
It's a signed copy.
signed copy. um, and my children's book will be out soon. That'll be another signed copy for you, Rosh.
And I've got your journal, your magical journal as well. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell people about your journal?
Okay, so the journal was kind of given to me because part of in the book, the guides talk, they channel through and they talk about keeping a journal of insight. And so they channeled this book and it's encoded. So as soon as you work with this book, you're connected to your guidance. So it's almost like a tick box. Oh, you're opening this book. Okay, well, we'll come in and work with you then. So, and there's a message in there as well, a channeled message. But yeah, essentially, you can get all that stuff on Amazon or on my website, just my name, Susan Kennard. And what I was saying about the course. So basically, it used to be called Sparkle to Success, and all those processes were born from working with veterans with PTSD all those years ago. And then they became much more evolved and much more fifth dimensional and spiritual. And that's what's in the book. And then, actually, what's really exciting is that I'm actually recording a video course. And it's actually going to be a lot more than those processes, but a self healing video course.
Amazing.
So that is going to be even more helpful for people because there's only one of me and I can't work with that many people. So I thought, well, if I've got this video course where they can actually be with me like this in the lounge, and I can take them through each process and talk about what you might experience within doing those processes, then it's a self-healing and you can just do it whenever you need it. So that's what we're putting together.
I can only imagine how powerful that's going to be. I can only imagine.
Well, um, I just do it because I know that it's going to help a lot of people in the world, and that's the point of living your mission.
Yeah, and that's what I love what you preach is that anytime I have a query or something, or one of our group has a query, it always stems down to what you say to us is that do what you love, do it the best that you can, and do it with passion, be passionate about it.
Yeah,
And so
what
that
lights you up?
sometimes we forget though, we do
Yeah,
forget,
no, we
but
do
but
forget.
you're
We
a
all
great
forget.
reminder. You're a great reminder for us.
I tend to go back into my 3D when one of my children, who were both teenagers and you know them well, um, might trigger me and push my buttons. And that's when I go, that's probably the only time I go into my little 3D part.
Yeah.
Every other moment of the day, I remember exactly who I am.
Yeah. Oh, they're
So,
there for a
yeah,
reason, right? They're there for a reason. They're
yeah,
absolutely there for a reason.
absolutely. Mm.
So another question I have is is there like a common theme that you see in clients at the moment? Like for me, I had a whole load of clients that was where I was working on around forgiveness.
Ah,
And maybe because I had a lot of forgiveness to do over the last few years, now I feel I'm okay. But that's
mm.
what was coming up in my clientele. That's what I was seeing, like a theme. Do you see some sort of theme, did, or is it a
Um,
mixed bag?
Yeah, I'm not seeing a theme in the sense of,
Emotions or
well, actually, the guides are reminding me. So, obviously, I teach channeling and mediumship. What I've noticed in the one-on-one sessions of people I don't know that have come to
yeah.
me maybe from shows and things like that, what they really, when I look into the field, I can see that there is that kind of resistance to connect with their guides. And
Mm,
that to me is about trust. And so that trust has to come from us. So we're the frequency match to the guides blending with us, and then we can experience that I'm not on my own.
yeah.
that seems to be something with people outside of the soul family.
Yeah,
Um, People within the soul family, it's just a general tweaking of all our, like the ascension, like going to the next level of our frequency,
yeah,
because you're pretty evolved within that soul family. But people outside, I would say, yeah, that connection to trust, because when we have that, you know how it is, when we have that connection to trust, it kind of feels like there's not a need to necessarily have an attachment
yeah,
to an outcome. Of course, we still have, wants and
yeah,
desires and so on. But
yeah,
yeah, I would say that within the soul family, I probably would say it's more about where can I best serve, like how can I best serve? In what way can I best serve? Would you say within the
yeah,
soul family?
absolutely. Yeah,
At the next
absolutely.
level of service.
You're always asking, you're like, okay, so what am I gonna do? I really want to do something for the soul family. And I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
always about what, it because it's your mission, right? It's
Oh
your
yeah,
purpose.
yeah, no, that's my yeah. That you guys are my like my focus. Yeah. Um yeah, because everything else, like I let go of things that don't resonate anymore.
Mm,
And so I let go of things that, as much as they're great, that I can't do everything. So I just stay in what really lights me up. And one of those things is traveling.
yeah. Oh
So
yes.
so if I can work and
Sagittarius.
travel at the same time, that's even better. Mm.
That's because of your Sagittarius rising,
Rising.
right?
Yeah. My Sag rising at the at kind of like a real late degree. So I'm like, yes, I have to be out.
Yeah, every month you're traveling. And
Oh,
we're
I
traveling.
don't mean to even. It just
No, but
happens.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's lovely. And I think in a way you've like we are creators, right? So you've created that. So it's beautiful, so we can create anything. So, and we're off soon, aren't we?
We're off. We're off next week to Switzerland to see Joe Dispenza.
And I can't wait. I just
I
cannot
can't
wait.
wait. Mm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm there already, actually.
And this is a really good point, actually, Rosh, is that,
Yeah,
recently I did, ayahuasca plant medicine at a secret location. And, that kind of thing, like you don't ever get it done. Like, I think it's really important. This is a really key thing, I think, for us, because being facilitators for other people, like you don't stop. It's not perfect. You don't stop your journey of expansion and healing. Like I'm always expanding, and I'm always like, oh, where can I, like, where can my frequency go next? Where can my sparkly feet go? Where can I expand to the next level? That's why I wrote the children's book,
yeah.
that Guardian Wings, which I'm so excited about. It's coming
Can't
out.
wait for that. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, and because I can't see all the children in the world, neither can you. But what
Yeah,
we can do is bring something that perhaps, if one child reads that and remembers who they are, one
yeah.
parent reads that to a child and remembers who they are. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's what we need to do in this world. And so, yeah,
It's
just
our it's our messages, right? It's our messages that's so important. That's going to reach, and I know some people call it messages, and I know you always say to me, it's your light. Your light needs to reach X, Y, and Z. So yeah, so I love that. I
for
really
life.
love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so my one of my final questions is,
Yeah.
if you had one piece of advice you could give our audience, what would it be?
Okay, so we have in the Soul Family we have this thing that I teach pretty much everyone, and it is the recipe. And the recipe is creating a sacred space, grounding and connecting, and then doing whatever you're doing. So what a lot of people don't get taught is that they need to create a sacred space before they connect with their guides or to connect with their higher self or so on. And what's really important on this journey is to feel completely safe. And there's a huge amount of lives that we've had and experiences that we've had where we've met our demise by being a witch or a wizard or whatever. And so what we bring to this experience is, oh, there's a fear, oh, something dark is going to get me or whatever. So it's really important to create a sacred space and ground and connect, okay? And we can do that in many different ways. That will be something in the course that I'll be massively teaching at the start. And in the morning when you wake up or when you go to bed at night, Just one thing, if you just put your hands on your heart and just say, I remember who I am. I remember who I am, even if you don't. So you're actually kind of going, okay, I remember who I am. And it just sets up that memory of, yes, okay, I'm in that place where I'm starting to get the sense that I'm more than this physical body, yeah, and this brain. And it just sows the seed. That's kind of for absolutely anyone. And to be honest, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, so grateful that I remember who I am.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that. I love
to
that. I've been
me,
using that
that's
statement
so
actually.
simple. It's just so simple. Because I think that when you start on a spiritual journey, and there might be some people watching this that are just starting out or just
Yeah,
awakening, it becomes a minefield of like, actually, I have to sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day. And that used to be how it was, yeah. But actually, we just need to come into our heart, breathe, and just be in that space just for like 2 minutes, even 2 minutes. And we could actually do that with your audience in a
yeah,
moment, just
that'd be brilliant.
maybe at
I'd
the
love
end, yeah.
that.
Um, just to kind of get the sense of that feeling of peace, and
I
that
would,
it doesn't have to be 20 minutes,
no.
because I think that sets people up to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love if you could do that. That'd be amazing. Do you want to do it now? Is that okay to do it now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So should we do higher self? Let's do higher self.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'll do the whole thing then, and then people just feel it'll just take 2 minutes. Okay, so let's place our hands on our heart. Okay, so the next breath that we take, we're going to breathe in through our nose in a moment, and we're going to hold our breath for as long as we can. And as we're holding our breath, we're just going to imagine a beautiful light in our heart. And we're going to do that 3 times, but hold your breath for as long, but you'll be different to somebody else. And so just whenever you feel you need to breathe out, just breathe out. There's no set time. And then just do it again. I'm going to do it 3 times, and I'll come back in a second. Okay, I think we're almost at 3. So just getting that sense of that calmness, that stillness, that is actually connecting in with your higher consciousness, your higher self. Okay, and I like to call it the GPS for your soul. So in this space of peace and calm, you are actually just in this moment remembering fully who you are, and you're accessing actually the whole of the universe. So every piece of wisdom, every bit of knowledge, all that is within you right now. And so in that moment, nothing else matters, right? So we get this sense of coming home in that moment. Yeah. And so we can come back. But just doing that is really helpful. And sometimes you can get to a place where you just do it in a second, just one deep breath, bring the light through. And if you want to extend it later on, then you would be, perhaps asking your guides to step in, you'd be asking your questions. But just to start off, just to come into that place of peace and just kind of do that on a daily basis, you start to feel that sense of remembering. And that to me is the first pillar of abundance, right? Remembering who
Yeah.
you are.
Oh, thank you so much. That was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I feel really, really calm now.
Yeah, same.
We're gonna post your links in the YouTube video, okay, and in the comments box, in my Facebook spirituality group. With your books,
Yes.
especially not just the journal, but the awaken the light within your heart. I really want to make sure that people know that a lot of the processes that I learned, they're in this book, so you can do it yourself. Yeah, you can heal yourself. Like we are our own healers. So we'll put a link about the book as well.
Yeah, sure,
Okay?
sure,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah,
But
that's really helpful.
honestly, Susan, thank you, thank you, thank you. Not
Oh,
just for being on this it's not podcast interview, but just for really helping me with my mission because I am on my mission.
oh.
So so I am a success story for sure. I'm
Yeah,
living it.
because you went from working in, I know that people know you here, but working for the government to
Yeah,
working part-time for the government to now working full-time in your mission.
mission. Yeah. So
You're,
I'm
you are a
so
success
grateful.
story.
Yeah, I am definitely. I'm definitely. But thank you so much, and hope to have you back on here again. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Susan. And look out for more of the interviews. This will be screened very shortly. So thank you all.